So, this chapter of Sakamoto Days introduces a lot of new concepts that are going to be used in the arc going forward. The very idea that now we've spent so much time training and building up our side characters. Heisuke, Shin, not necessarily Lu, and I know all of the Lu fans are upset with what happened this chapter as well because she is basically just rendered to doing nothing, it seems, for the rest of the series. We spent so much time on Shin, spent so much time on Heisuke because it's possible, at least for right now, we may have to do all of this without the main man Sakamoto himself. Because one of the big things that does happen in this chapter, especially with Yotsumura and Kandaka showing up, is seeing how much power can be gained from having someone like Kandaka and Yotsumura on their team. Those two alone are enough to stop this entire raid on the prison and save Sakamoto, everybody. And you can even see here, even though Sakamoto had the best kind of security in place from the very beginning, the moment Kandaka and Yotsumura step up where Sakamoto should be helping them fight the order, they should be helping everybody escape at this point. Sakamoto is too defeated, too mentally broken to even handle the situation right now. We do get a very cool reveal here with the quick fight between Oki and Yotsumura and Kandaka, and it's the fact that Kandaka obviously is more than aware of Oki. He technically congratulates Oki on the way that he's clawed his way up the ladder in the last couple of years while Kandaka was in a coma. So it seems that Oki and Kandaka have always been at odds with one another. It's unclear how much Sakamoto and Oki have a relationship, although other than boss and underling. But as the former boss of the order with the one that took its place, it seems like Oki and Kandaka have always been at each other's throats and they've never seen eye to eye. Primarily because Oki, as we learned last chapter, is someone that prioritizes his own power, prioritizes his selfish assertion of being on the top level of everything. Because again, we learned in previous chapters that the entire Japanese government was essentially on the JAA's payroll. They were strong-arming themselves in every kind of governmental organization, and the Prime Minister was mostly just a figurehead at this point. Oki, as the leader of the order, is able to exploit all of Uzuki's revolution, able to exploit all of Asaki's own revolution, and always come out on top in the long run. And even though Uzuki's plan is to, destroy the JAA and build it anew and essentially start a whole new purge and release all of these guns and bullets, which even in this chapter we already see is going exceptionally well. People are naming their guns. It's absolutely ridiculous. But we see that Oki is someone that, despite being an older fellow, someone that knew Kandaka, so someone from his generation, Oki refuses to step down for the people that are coming after. He wants to stay where he is no matter what. Whereas Kandaka is one of the old generation that doesn't mind. He says that either way, no matter what, our eras are going to, end. He goes, you and me, we're going to die. There's going to be people that come in and surpass us. The sooner that they accept that, the better their lives will be. But Oki, as we know, is going to continue doing everything he possibly can to stay in the position that he's in. Whereas Kandaka and Yotsumura are two people that are more than willing to make sacrifices, like letting the new generation take over, passing the torch on, because they know what's right. I mean, even Yotsumura for a time was willing to start a family and have a child and look through some other lens than the assassin life. Seeing Kandaka still have this insane speed is just so beautiful. Even after all of these years of being out of the mix, we knew he was still pretty strong when he was taking on Sakamoto and first woke up from the coma, but seeing him completely blitz Oki and be able to move so fast, he's creating after images around him, and Oki even acknowledges Kandaka as still being the fastest assassin alive, while having Yotsumura come up from behind him to show support. Oki and his glaive being able to, at the very least, come out of a situation going up against two of what might be the strongest assassins to have ever lived, it is impressive in and of itself. Even though he is completely driven off and says, yeah, it's not cost effective, we've got to dip, Yotsumura and Kandaka have made this much more of a problem than we need to deal with. And they're even able to save Atari through this brief interruption, so ultimately it's a net positive that Kindaka and Yotsumura showed up and they are on our team, because without them, we probably would have gotten destroyed in this battle with the Order, especially now knowing what state Sakamoto is in after almost losing his family. One big thing as well, Boiled is saved. I can die happily now, no matter what happens in the world, knowing that Boiled is not someone that was killed by fucking guitar guy Tanabata. Everything is okay. Whatever happens in the series, just know that it's gonna be okay, because Yuto Suzuki has his priorities in check. That's all I needed to know to see this. Now, one big thing that I have to say about Sakamoto's store blowing up and Aoi and Lu being safe is, while we know Sakamoto's store is one of the weirdest and craziest clusterfuck of security mechanisms, I mean, even in the very first chapter alone, we see that this man has millions and millions of weapons, different sizes and shapes, all in a revolving wall that he clicks under his register. So it doesn't surprise me that he has a trapdoor that would protect Aoi and Lu, and that trapdoor would be like explosion proof, or at least reinforced heavily enough to protect them. I feel like it's just mostly a loss of a good, cool moment that could have had either Lu step up and, you know, fight off, you know, the terrorist that came in, because apparently this was a one-way assassin trip for him. He went in and did not come out. So I don't know if this was a hired assassin on the behalf of Oki, most likely, rather than just some random occurrence. But the very fact that Lu and Aoi were saved this way, we don't know where Nagumo is. However, I'm sure with Nagumo's disguise ability, he could be anywhere, and wherever he does reveal himself to be could be one of the most amazing things in the world, right? Nagumo has enough hacks to become plot relevant wherever he shows up, right? He you know, he could be Shishiba, he could be Osur, he could be everyone right now. We don't know who he is. He could be fucking Uzuki at this point. I wouldn't even be surprised. But yeah, I mean, all the theories that were out last chapter as to what might happen just ultimately seemed way cooler. But it is what it is, you know. I'm still happy and excited to see where this whole mentally debilitated Sakamoto is going to go, because like I said earlier, now that Sakamoto is distraught to the point that he can't even fight in what might be one of the most dangerous situations of all time. I mean, even earlier when they're running past, everyone's like, oh, they're already distributing guns. Should we try and stop them? Sakamoto's like, fuck that. We're going to go check on my family, which I understand that completely. But also at the same time, now that Aoi and Lu are safe, where Sakamoto should be able to pick himself up, and he just can't do it. And Yotsumura claims that having spent so much time in the normal world and disassociating himself with the assassin life, Sakamoto is no longer hardened enough to handle jump scares like that, to be frank. Sakamoto actually came in and saved his family and did everything he could, and he was actually the one that helped. It's not like someone saved his family for him and he wasn't able to be there for him. It was him that saved them. And still, this isn't enough, and he pukes, and like, he just cannot handle any of this. Which, again, getting the power boost of Kindaka and Yotsumura was more than enough to push the Order away, but if they are fighting to kill, I genuinely don't know how we're going to come out of this. I think it's not funny, but it's hilarious that Uzuki has to basically keep himself from taking his own life at this point, because Rion, the personality inside of him, is super fucking upset that Uzuki did this and actually accomplished his goal, and now it's trying to kill him, trying to throw a knife into his throat, because again, the only reason Sakamoto got a bounty put on him in the first place is because Rion needed help taking Uzuki down and stopping him. Uzuki did say he's hoping to, you know, push Rion's personality out of his mind or push it to the darkest crevices of it. We haven't really seen that happen yet, but I mean, he at least has enough power and control over his personalities at this point to stop her from doing this. And at this point, it's just a meeting of what Uzuki calls the group of the strongest assassins of all time. I mean, we have Shishiba, Osaragi, Torres, Tanabata, Oki, all of these crazy Order members. We've got Kanagori, we've got Kumanomi, who Kumanomi is, I think, one of the only remaining members of Slur's gang. Gaku's gone, Haruma's gone, Kashima has turned sides, Carolina Reaper was killed by Osaragi, Club Jam is somewhere in prison, I think. He wasn't in the prison arc, so I don't know where Club Jam is, but he's not here, and Club Jam wouldn't be a part of this strong organization anyway. It does show that without the Order joining Izuki, why couldn't they stop him? again? Was it just because Uzuki now has Takamura? And I mean, I guess having Takamura does make Uzuki pretty much almost unstoppable. I mean, Kumanomi getting the quick little haircut is a character design that I don't know if I'm happy about. I prefer the long hair Kumanomi, but it is genuinely insane to me, like, that now you have these people that were once at odds with each other and have beef now trying to be allies. Osaragi defending Shishiba was nice, but one thing that I keep having questions on is, where is Osaragi gonna stand? Obviously, Osaragi protects Shishiba here. I'm hoping that Osaragi and Shishiba see eye to eye on this, and even if Shishiba hasn't told Osaragi, for fear Osaragi is just, you know, not able to keep the secret long enough, it would break my heart to see an Osaragi versus Shishiba fight, because Osaragi stays loyal to the Order. Why would she stay loyal to the Order? She fucks with Shishiba. That should be her ultimate priority. So I really hope she's also on our side as well. Again, we don't know where the hell Nagumo is, so that is something to take into consideration. Very important. And the last thing that I want to leave us with here is Akira saying that this is just getting worse and worse. There's no stopping these people now. You had your chance. You had so much time and you waited. Obviously, I know she couldn't necessarily kill Uzuki. You know, she wasn't strong enough to defeat the Order, but it's funny to see the social media manager of the Revolution now being like, damn, I think I waited too long. This chapter does give us a neutral ground. Everyone is back to where they needed to be. Sakamoto and gang are all in his family store and safe, and Slur and his Order are now met up together. And I'm not entirely sure what will break Sakamoto from this haze. This is obviously the last piece of the puzzle for Sakamoto's completion. It has to be, right? Where Sakamoto is going to be able to overcome this trauma, realize his full potential, and reach, you know, 100% power. At least that's what my hope is for Sakamoto, because at the end of the day, no matter how strong our allies are and how far they've come, by the way, we saved Atari, so we do have Atari on our side as well, and she does still have a little bit of luck left. We can definitely put up a fight against some of these Order members. And I say some, key phrase is some. But without Sakamoto, all is going to be lost, without a doubt. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys think there's going to be something that our allies are able to do. Again, having Kendaka and Yotsumura are great, but let me know what you also think Nagumo is doing. Where the hell is Nagumo? Is he Shishiba, like a lot of people are saying? Although, where is the real Shishiba? There's a lot of good questions to ask, and I do genuinely have a lot of intrigue in where the story is going. I'm not sure how I feel about Sakamoto's mental decline, but if this does become his final character development to reach his peak, then I'm all for it. But thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button. I genuinely do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, 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 peace.